Hey guys, me Bobby here, and today I have another creepypasta narration for you. Today, we're going to be narrating SpongeBob SquarePants' Grandma's Cookies. So this is a decently well-known creepypasta. It's not really that well-known, but it still is a somewhat decent story, and something that I've wanted to narrate for quite some time now. Okay, not really too much, but still something that I would have liked to narrate a bit ago. Anyways, I'm babbling, so yeah, let's not waste any more time. So yeah, sit back and relax as I read to you SpongeBob SquarePants' Grandma's Cookies. If you want to know who I am, the best I can tell you is that I'm the oldest child in a family of 5. My sister, who moved away with her dog, and my older sister, who's currently in college, brought a family pet bird. Another one of my sisters is really talented at art, and as the youngest child, he's my little brother and really great at programming. We sometimes call him silly names like Silly Billy. Billy's not his actual name, it just rhymes, but he's really cute, and we love him. Fast forward summer break, and my cousins were getting engaged and they were throwing an engagement party. Before they get married in the future, however, they were at Canada. I knew we could drive, but it would take 10 hours, plus bathroom stops. We figured it would be better to travel through flight. The airplanes have those entertainment systems where it streams the channels live on the back of the chair with a remote and on the arm of the seat. After waiting a couple of hours until the airport boards the passengers, we're finally on the flight. After a couple more minutes of waiting for the passengers to get in, and more minutes of waiting for some sort of airplane safety video to finish, the airplane finally flies, and we can finally watch TV on an airplane. I decided to watch some SpongeBob SquarePants, so I went to the menu to see what episodes of SpongeBob were airing, and of course there were just modern episodes. But there was one that caught my eye. The episode title said Grandma's Cookies. Just to let you know, my brother was a huge fan of SpongeBob, and I decided to start a SpongeBob marathon, or what we call it, the Spongeathon, on Paramount Plus. And I never remembered seeing the episode. Maybe it was an episode that currently released. I was sitting next to my sister and asked her to go to the TV channels menu to see if she had the same thing, but she told me that there wasn't an episode named Grandma's Cookies, but instead there was an episode named Doodle Dimension, which we did watch in the marathon. So I looked at the episode description. SpongeBob visits his grandma's house to learn how she makes her delicious cookies. All they're missing is one secret ingredient. It appeared to play after the episode Mrs. Puffy You're Fired, so I watched it to see if it would actually play Grandma's Cookies. After that, or if it was just a glitch, and it was supposed to air later. So after 11 minutes of watching SpongeBob getting trained by someone replacing Mrs. Puff, I waited until the commercial break ends, and after SpongeBob plays the recorder on his nose, I was ready to see what fate chooses. The title card of Grandma's Cookies shows, and then the episode begins at SpongeBob heading to his grandma's house. SpongeBob opens the doors and yells in happiness, "Grandma!" as he runs to her and hugs her. His grandma gives him a kiss on the forehead and told him that she almost didn't recognize him because he was growing older. She also told SpongeBob that no matter how old he is, he will always be his little baby to her. SpongeBob goes to the kitchen as his grandma prepares to bake a batch of cookies. She asks SpongeBob, what to know how I make my cookies as delicious as you think? SpongeBob nods in happiness. She goes to the mixer and says, "We add butter, eggs, flour, water, chocolate chip, and most importantly, love," as she puts the ingredients and mixes them. SpongeBob kissed the bowl full of the ingredients and kissed his grandma, telling her how much he loves her. His grandma tells him that she has a secret ingredient that makes her cookies stand out, and tells him to close his eyes. SpongeBob asks her about the ingredient, and she tells him, "If I tell you, then it won't be a secret ingredient anymore. Just like how you make a Krabby Patty with a secret ingredient." SpongeBob starts growing suspicious. "You're a plankton in disguise, aren't you?" he said. She tells him, "I don't know, but I do remember moments of a little walking green jelly bean that always tries to steal what he calls the secret formula." The camera goes to the inside of a closet, and she opens it and gasps, "Oh no, we ran out of the secret ingredient. I gotta go get more of it." SpongeBob is upset about the situation, so he tries to find the ingredient. Using his knowledge that his grandma doesn't have the ingredient at home, he goes outside and grabs random stuff, from seaweed to kelp to Krabby Patties, but none of them tasted like his grandma's cookies. He tries to call his grandma multiple times, but she wouldn't pick up. He called her again, and she finally picked up. Of course, he asks his grandma about the secret ingredient, and of course again, she tells him that it's a secret, and he doesn't give up, and goes back outside to get more random stuff to find the secret ingredient, but none of them worked. He decided to try random parts of characters from Plankton's body to Mr. Krabs' arm, none of them worked, he soon wondered if his grandma was lying to him about her running out of the secret ingredient. So he looked around the house until something caught his eye. A door that had a sign hanging on the doorknob saying in all capital letters, "Do not enter." He wanted to see what's inside, but he didn't want to invade his grandma's privacy while she's away. Curiosity got the better of him, and he enters the room. He felt something touch him on the foot. He looked down to see some skeleton bones with the word "help" written on the floor. Grandma appeared behind him with a baseball bat. "Looks like you found my secret," she said. SpongeBob was sad and scared at the same time, and I totally understand how you would feel if your grandma was using dead people for cookies. Let's just say I found out sea sponges can regenerate, so I knocked your grandpa out and used his body parts as the secret ingredient while I bake the body parts in the oven with the cookies. It won't regenerate, so I can use it as an ingredient, SpongeBob's grandma said. She knocked SpongeBob unconscious and threw him next to his unconscious grandpa. She slams the door closed as the screen turned black. Then, a locking sound could be heard. The credits played like normal, and there was nothing out of the ordinary. Then it gets to the United Plankton Pictures Inc. logo. The logo was replaced with United Chocolate Chips Inc. The water background was replaced with fire, and the planktons were replaced with trays of cookies with some skeleton bones in the tray. I was shocked, and I wanted to learn more about this episode. Since my plane had Wi-Fi, I did some research about the episode. Here's what I got so far. The episode was made originally because a man was friends with a person who was a worker of SpongeBob SquarePants, and that man wanted revenge because his ex, who loved SpongeBob so much, cheated on him. He was able to make a copy of the Nickelodeon streaming service and replace the episode with the episode I currently watched. There's actually a rare chance for the episode to accidentally air on the real Nickelodeon streaming service instead of a duplicate. It looks like I got that rare chance. Here I am now, after the engagement party. It was really fun, but it didn't distract me from this episode. I understand that cheating is wrong, but I don't think the man was carried away with the episode. Okay, so another pretty interesting pasta on our hands. Now, of course, I say this every time I narrate one of these, but anyways, it doesn't matter. So, what are my thoughts on the story? Honestly, pretty unique concept, and whilst I'll admit, it's not the most original thing Pastas has done, it was still pretty good. And yeah, of course, well, I have to admit something, like, the first, little part of the story is kind of unnecessary, like, the protagonist going into details about his family. I'm assuming it's a he, like Ozzy, but still, cause I just feel like, just random details like that are a bit unnecessary, but still. Anyways, let's actually get into the meat of this story now, shall we? Now, of course, the episode about being where SpongeBob goes to his grandma's house. His grandma, ran out of secret ingredients for cookies, and SpongeBob tries to find it, but it turns out it's his grandfather. I mean, it is somewhat interesting. Now, of course, it does kind of, to an extent, feel like it could actually fit as a real episode. Well, of course, aside from SpongeBob finding out that the cookies were made from his grandfather. It's pretty dark, but again, creepypasta, what the hell do you expect? But, yes, still, of course, maybe the whole thing with his grandma, using his grandpa to make cookies, and also not to mention how his grandma literally, knocking SpongeBob out of the baseball bat and seemingly using him for cookies, which I don't really understand, because, if she knocks him out, he's literally, never going to see him again, but, still using for cookies and everything, but still, also for help being written off the wall, kind of makes it a bit scary, of course, kind of cliche, but still, quite cool to an extent, Now, the way of finding the episode, which is actually the first and, I think, only time I've actually seen a story do this, is that, on an airplane with, the little, TV thing, of course, it's kind of embarrassing, considering the fact that, I'm 14. I've never actually been on an airplane before. I know, I'm 14, so I really should have by now, but trust me, okay, I'm working on it. But I did, I think, hear once that, airplanes did have that, I don't know, but, yeah, the idea of, the episode, supposedly being on, one of those airplane TV things is honestly quite interesting, and, nothing, I don't think I've ever seen a creepypasta do. I might be wrong, I don't even think I am wrong, because, yeah, it's pretty unique, if you ask me, and, yeah. Now, of course, how the episode aired, because, some guy whose girlfriend cheated on him with a guy who worked on, SpongeBob, or I don't know, I think something along the lines of that. Sorry about that, being hell, made the episode, I think it's I always feel it kind of interesting. Now, something, a little pet peeve that I do kind of have is that, like, I understand it's a creepypasta, but, like, I don't really like the cliches of whole intros / credits being different. Now, the intro wasn't different, but, like, the credits were the United Plankton Pictures logo in the SpongeBob credits was just, instead of replaced with, like, the Planktons were cookies, and there was, like, cookies on the tray, like, United Chocolate Chip Cookies on production. That's kind of annoying, but it doesn't really take away from the story, so, yeah. Also, also the guy, like, making, like, a duplicate of the Nickelodeon streaming service, and yeah, I guess it does seem somewhat believable to an extent. Other, of course, with the protagonist asking his sister if she see the episode and how she saw dual dimension the episode. So yeah, okay, I know that was really random just to bring up, but still, again, I know, like, I don't really like it. I mean, I don't mind it, but still, I guess it does, I mean, again, it was some hijacking of some sort, but still, yeah, no, like. Oh god, sorry, I keep bringing the protagonist going to, like, his cousin's house, engagement party, but the episode's still staying on his mind, which I guess I can't lie, it's a bit silly when pastors do that, but it's still somewhat, believable to an extent. So overall, my final thoughts on the story. It was pretty good, interesting way of finding episode, however let down to some cliches. But anyways, yeah, my rating on the story would have to be an 8 out of 10. Somewhat actually really good, oh Jesus Christ, pretty good creepypasta, but unfortunately let down to some cliches, I said already. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Comment roof if you made it this far, and I'll see you next time. Bye!